How's it going, everyone? It's your boy Flooded. Today I'm going to be going over a couple of today's runners where you could have played them, just the basic support and resistance charts, and just to draw it down, make it really simple for you guys, how you could take advantage of the trend and support and resistance in the market, and how you could successfully use those as solid conviction factors for all of your trades. So yeah, let's get started with ATNF. As you can see here, we had our pre-market run, got rejected by resistance at 1.8 twice, rejected that level, came down, consolidated around 1.6. We saw a bounce there, tested 1.8 here again, couldn't get over it the first time. Second time we got a full candle close above it, and we made a new high of around $2. We got rejected, not surprised. Psychological resistance right at $2 rejected, and came down, consolidated at that same area where it had trouble getting over, which is old resistance known as new support, and which is not 190 area, and we ended up seeing that full candle close above $2, a move all the way to 2.25, rejected that area, came down and consolidated over the $2 resistance. So old resistance where we got rejected at $2 becomes new support. Old resistance becomes new support. Old support becomes new resistance. Very important to know, and man, it's just super helpful, all the time when I'm day trading. So always keep that at the back of your head. And we ended up coming down to our new support at $2, bounced, and ended up pretty much just bouncing between that area and 210, rejecting it a couple times, and eventually we broke under that $2 area right before market open, and 9:30 market open we saw a big move. And usually at market open we do see either a nice big candle to the upside, or a nice candle to the downside on some penny stocks, which is why me personally, I usually do not hold any plays into market open unless I have very good conviction on one, and I'm holding it for, the long run on the day. That's pretty much the only time I'll be actually entering something and holding it through market open, because market open is super volatile and you never can know what's going to happen. So yeah, I always just like to keep my risk as minimal as possible, and that's another way to do so. Ended up seeing a very strong bounce right at market open, testing that 2.25 area where we rejected at pre-market earlier. Showed a little bit of weakness there, as we can see here with the upper wicks, indicating sellers have control in that area, and they're bringing it down every time we try to test that 2.3 area. Rejected, came down to that $2 psychological support, old resistance from pre-market, new support, came down, new support, strong bounce, high of day. Still could not maintain that 2.3 level, which is telling us from all the wicks and from this area, 2.3 is a heavily seller occupied area, and they are controlling that. Ended up rejecting that 2.3 area, coming back down to again that $2 psychological support, also our old resistance from pre-market. Very nice bounce. Ended up testing 2.2 again. Could not get over 2.3. Once again, we see with the upper wick, sellers have very strong control. 2.3, they crush it down again. And we ended up testing $2 once again. Very nice bounce, and eventually we could not hold that support anymore. And we ended up coming down to pre-market's resistance, which is now known as our new support. So that is why it's super important to have all of your levels drawn out, because if I didn't draw out this resistance area right here where we rejected at pre-market, I would not have known that we would potentially see a bounce at this area, because this is our support, our new support. And we ended up seeing a nice little rally, but it could not maintain at all. Sellers just absolutely crush it towards end of day. And yeah, I will be keeping this on watch. It definitely has solid potential to keep moving, to make new highs. And yeah, many opportunities for us to play this today. This is where I personally took advantage of it, even though I was in a position and I held this a couple of times. I was able to scalp it off this support right here, for a solid gain. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions on ATNF in the comments down below. Next ticker I'm going to be going over is HTGM, and this was probably one of the most solid runners today, and just beautiful. Early morning we ended up coming down to that 3.1 level. A lot of people thought it's done, but it is that same exact support where we bounced yesterday before we saw that huge run all the way to 6. And again, we come down to that support. Beautiful bounce. Another reason why it's always super important to have your levels drawn, because if I did not have my levels drawn from yesterday, I would not have known that that was support. Beautiful bounce there. Ended up testing that resistance, which is earlier support. As you can see here, we held this pretty well until we got under it. And we got over that full candle close all the way till 4.1. As you can see here, we struggled a bit, to get over that 4.15 area. Rejected it 4 or 5 times. Eventually, we got that full candle close above it, made a move all the way to 4.9. And as you can see, this is where we start to form this, ascending, broadening wedge type of wedge right here. And it's very important to try to notice wedges, patterns, triangles all the time, because they are going to be extremely helpful in noticing the trend and finding the trend and making successful trades. And as you can see, tested this first resistance, came down. We saw a beautiful bounce off that 4.2 area. I want to note that down as a strong support. Saw a strong bounce, tested that 4.7 level, rejected, and made a new high of 5.22. And this is where we can see that broadening wedge start to form, and coming back down, we reject perfectly off that area, comes right back down to it. This was perfect opportunity for the wedge to show its potential, and it did. We ended up testing that resistance. Perfect rejection, again, tested it one more time. Perfect rejection, came down to that support or our earlier previous resistance where we got rejected 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, and we ended up getting over that, coming down to test it as support. We could not hold it. So, a lot of times I'm watching this and I'm like, okay, this is new support. We're coming to test it. I want to look at my level 2 times and sales, my other indicators, especially price action, volume, and I want to analyze if this would be the right trade to take as a retest of support. In this case, unfortunately, it did not hold, and sometimes that does happen. There's really nothing to do about it. Some trades work, some trades don't. Just need more to work than not work. And honestly, just bounced, off the support and resistance of the broadening wedge just perfectly until later during the day, where we could not hold it. Ended up testing VWAP, couldn't hold VWAP either, whereas it's been riding VWAP pretty much all day, and at this test we just couldn't hold it. Saw that knife, and that was it, pretty much done for the day. And at that point I would not keep watching this. But yeah, a great runner from today, and definitely a lot to learn from this chart. So let me know if you guys have any questions on HTGM. Make sure y'all join the Discord link in the description and just ask any questions y'all want, and we got y'all in there. We try to help, pretty much everyone. And to finish off today, there's nothing to recap here. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. We've been seeing a lot of penny stocks, just, low flow penny stocks in the 20 cent, 30 cent, 10 cent range, where they've just been popping, and then sometimes a minute later, sometimes 5 minutes later, they dump, and that's exactly what happened here. This came up on a lot of people's volume scanners, and this is very easy to get people stuck, and it's very easy for people to get stuck in and for people to lose money. So just wanted to let y'all know, always keep in mind, just as fast as something goes up, it can always come down just as fast. That's why I will never play something if it's just ripped off 2 green candles, especially when there's no news. For example, DRMA today, this was just a pump. There was no news here, nothing to back it up. So in almost every case where I see an initial run like this, I will wait for it to settle down, show me support and resistances before I decide to take an entry. Why? Because as fast as something goes up, it can come down just as fast, and that's exactly what happened here. That's why it's important to wait for those support and resistances, those levels to show themselves, and to have a plan outlined before you take the trade. And DRMA, we had no news, and it's just been a trend where penny stocks have just been ripping and then dumping pretty much within the next 10 minutes. So just be careful, guys. Me personally, I am, waiting at least 30 minutes to an hour after the initial run so I can have all my levels drawn, and I want to see a strong runner. I don't want to see something that's capable of doing this. And yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments. Make sure you join the Discord, link in bio. Let's make some money.